What's up everyone, it's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and today I'm going to be talking about the Darth Vader fan film. Now, I just want to address this before I get into all that. Yes, I am out of town. This is not my studio. I am up visiting my cousins in Boise. So for the next couple of videos, I'm going to be in this environment, and then I will be back in my studio in no time filming. So bear with me on that. So let's just get right into it. Let's talk about the Darth Vader fan film. Now, I was able to go to the premiere of it and see it on the big screen. It was an absolutely amazing experience. Thank you so much, Andy, for getting me my ticket. When he released the tickets online, I was driving and I missed the sale for it. So thank you so much, Andy, for emailing me a ticket. That was very, very kind of you. And it was an amazing opportunity, and there's just been so much that has gone into this, and I was able to go while they were filming it. So I was able to go on set with Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, and we got to be there and see them when, without the special effects, just them on the set, being these characters without the voice actors, without, the actual lightsabers lighting up as compared to, just the ones that you get as props. And I remember being on set and just thinking, this is amazing. You can just feel it. Everyone here is a huge Star Wars fan. Everyone here loves Star Wars. Everyone here that is working on this project is so tied to it. And they all have such desire to make it succeed and to make it to the best that it possibly can. And when you have that kind of love and passion for something you're working on, it's going to show in the final product. Now, when I was driving to the Vader fan film, I got that kind of nervousness in the pit of my stomach, and I was like, oh my gosh, what if it's that moment in Fanboys where they're all in the theater and they're all psyched to see episode 1, and then they turn together what if the movie sucks? And then the screen goes black, and they're like, and I was thinking that am I just so used to the Disney Lucasfilm Star Wars movies and just seeing Star Wars get butchered, that what if I get there and I've seen it on set, I know what the lines are, I know what the story's going to be about. What if it's not? What if it's what I've been seeing? And so I was really nervous, and when I got to the theater, completely different type of environment. You get there and everyone is just so excited. Everyone's there with their lightsabers, their t-shirts. Everyone is ready. Everyone is so excited to see this movie. It's the movie that we've been waiting for. And I got into the theater and I sat down. I had my iPad. I started sketching the theater and just looking around at the reaction and listening to the conversations that people were having, and just so excited because this is something that everyone has been waiting for. And like I said, Darth Vader is my favorite character. So I'm very, very tied to the story and, just everything that surrounds Darth Vader and his journey from Anakin to Vader back to Anakin again. And so when I was on set and I heard what the story was, I was like, wow, that's so intriguing. And then before they showed it, Danny and Ηere came up and they talked about it, and somebody asked, they're like, why did you choose to do this time period? Why is it so soon after the Empire took over? And Danny explained about how, Anakin was told from the Emperor that, hey, if you come to the dark side, I'll save your wife. And I've talked about this in a video before about how, in a way, Darth Sidious was the father figure to Anakin. Anakin and Obi-Wan, they have that brother relationship, but Sidious saw Anakin as a young child, and he saw his potential. He knew who Anakin was. He knew everything that surrounded Anakin, and he used him. He played him. Sidious is one of those people that they get inside your mind, and they can manipulate you. That's what he does. He's the master chess player. He has everyone set up the way he wants them, and he used Anakin to get exactly what he wanted for so long. And when he, learned about Anakin's relationship with Padme and, Anakin's desire to save the people that he loved from dying, he dealt with that with his mother, and he lost his mother. He wasn't able to save her, and all he wanted was to save Padme. That is what he wanted. When you find out a person's deepest desire in a way, you can control them, and that's what Sidious does. He finds out what you want, and he uses it. And he uses that to get you tied to him. And he told Anakin exactly what he wanted to hear. Hey, you're the best. You are going to be better than the rest of the Jedi. They don't see the potential in you. And to Anakin, that was always the person that's his biggest supporter. Sidious has always got his back. Sidious is always there to help him. And so when Sidious is like, hey, and Anakin has that in his mind, this guy's always been there for me. This guy's always been trying to help me. This guy is the one that has my best intentions, or my, best. He wants him to have the best. And when Sidious tells Anakin, hey, I know this old Sith legend about how to stop people from dying, and that got Anakin. It was, he wanted to stop Padme from dying. And for Sidious to, plant that seed in Anakin's head, he's like, hey, if you come to the dark side, you're going to have all the power that you need, and you will be able to save Padme from dying. And what does Anakin do? Anakin turns to the dark side, and what happens? Padme dies. And you would think, after Anakin's reaction when he's like, no, I felt her, she was alive, and then he's like, no. You would think that there'd be some repercussions, that Anakin, now that he's, gone full dark side, he's turned on Obi-Wan, they had that battle, that something would happen between him and Sidious. There's no way that this guy that's been lying to him, that he finally is like, hey bro, you told me my wife was gonna die, or was gonna live, and now she freaking died, like what the hell, man? And so that's what this is. It's about showing how Anakin dealt with Padme's death, and the relationship between him and Darth Sidious, and how Sidious will always be, manipulating him. And that's how he had that control over Anakin, is he used that emotional bond that Anakin formed with him, and he uses the things that Anakin cares about against him to use him as his little puppet. And to see that, it's like, wow, this is what we've been waiting for. This actually is Star Wars. This is a thought-out story. It makes sense. It fits within the timeline. And it's just, you can tell that somebody actually cared. And that is the difference between a fan film like this and what Disney's putting out. Disney does not care about Star Wars. They said, oh, let's take everything that, people loved about Star Wars and let's kill it off, because we don't want people to remember that. We want people to remember our version of Star Wars, our Disney version of Star Wars. We don't want them to care about Luke, Leia, and Han. We want them to care about Rey, Kylo, Finn, and Poe. Nobody cares about them because you didn't give them any depth. You didn't give us any reason to be emotionally connected to these characters. Whereas when you have characters like Vader, yeah, Vader is the villain. When I was a child watching Star Wars, he was my favorite character. I was rooting for Luke to win because I wanted Luke to save his father. Darth Vader was the coolest freaking character. There was so much behind who he was and how he came to be Darth Vader from being Anakin. And just hearing, you see Darth Vader come onto the screen. What does he do? He kills everyone, and he tells Leia, yeah, I don't care who you are. I don't care that you're a princess. You're coming with me, and I'm going to blow up your ship. And then, you go and you meet Luke, and Luke is hearing about his dad, Anakin, and you're like, oh yeah, your dad was an amazing pilot, and, he died. And, just knowing that and then finding out who he is in Empire, there's just so much to this character, and there's so much that can be explored. And that's why he's one of, not, one of the most popular characters ever made. And people love that. And to take that and say, oh, you know what, we don't care about that. We're just going to use it for marketing material, so that way, our movies can get people in, because we're going to use that emotional connection people have to Darth Vader. Let's pull them in, and then let's subvert their expectations. As compared to this, where it's like, it was made by someone who loves Star Wars, who cares about the characters. I do not know much about Star Wars theory. All I know is that I asked him on set, I was like, hey, is Darth Vader your favorite character? And he said yes. And I was like, well, I can see that, because Darth Vader is my favorite character too. And this feels like Darth Vader. This is Star Wars. And it's amazing but sad at the same time that we live in a time when we have the technology to make something absolutely groundbreaking and world-changing. And Disney won't do that. They don't care. They don't care about changing the world. They don't care about staying true to Star Wars and true to the characters and the meaning of Star Wars. But the fans do. And for them to call us toxic, if you want to call us toxic, they should have gone to the theater. They should have gone to the premiere. They should have felt the joy. You could feel the person in there, or the energy in there. Every single person there was so excited, so optimistic, so happy to be there, so happy to be surrounded by other Star Wars fans, so happy to see a fan-made movie. It doesn't have $1 billion behind it. It's 15 minutes. 15 minutes of pure Star Wars. And that's something that can change the world. If you take something that you love and you put everything into it, and you have to make it because it's a story that is inside of you and you need to share that with the world. That is what George Lucas did, and George Lucas gave us Star Wars. Disney isn't making Star Wars. Disney is making something that they thought was going to make them money and is failing. This Vader fan film, this is Star Wars. Everything in it is Star Wars. The people that are in it love Star Wars. The people that worked on it love Star Wars. And you can see it and you can feel it. And like I said, it's absolutely amazing that something like this can be made, just by a fan, just by a group of fans that work together, that put their heart and soul into it, that they can make something so amazing. That changes the world. What Disney's doing is not. Disney is just not making Star Wars because they don't care. They don't care about Star Wars. And that's incredibly sad. But this Darth Vader fan film, it was an absolutely amazing experience to be on the set, as well as to see it on the big screen in the theaters, and to see it again and again on, YouTube. And little spoiler, Easter egg, I should say, I tied the knots, if you've watched it, when he's on Naboo and you look into the hole and there's knots. I tied them. I would like everyone to know that. When I was on the set, they were like, oh, does anyone know how to tie knots? Nobody said anything. I was like, I know how to tie knots. So just that, I tied the knots. I didn't do any of the cool stuff. I didn't, help write it or help with the costumes or help do anything, but I tied the knots. And I mean, if I can contribute in any way, shape, and form to that, I mean, I don't care, because it was amazing. It was an honor to be there. It was an honor to, be able to go to the premiere and to meet the people. Everyone that was in the cast and everyone that worked on it are just incredible people, and I'm so incredibly honored that I was able to interact with them and to be in a time when we can show the world that people still care about Star Wars, and that Star Wars is something that is worth fighting for. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great rest of your day, and may the Force be with you, because we are going to need it.